What's up everyone, James here, and today we're talking about intros. So an introduction is a great way to set the tone for a piece, and there are so many different ways that they can be played. Today is going to be about kind of reining things in a little bit. I want to share with you a fairly easy sort of blueprint that you can use to create lots and lots of different intros. Now, as with some of the other things that I've done, this video is broken into several different sections. The goal here is not necessarily that everybody should finish all the way through to the end of the video. If you're not comfortable playing some of the things towards the end, that is totally fine. Just feel free to draw the line wherever you feel is most appropriate. There's so much good stuff here. Let's jump in. Okay, so let's get a few things out of the way up front. The intro that we're going to talk about today works for a piece that's in a major key. This intro could be 4 bars or it could be 8 bars, kind of depending on how you decide to play around with things. There's a lot of flexibility there. And finally, I'm going to show you a formula for making this work. Now, the formula itself is fairly simple, but as you'll soon see, the possibilities are just amazing. There's so many really cool things that you can do with this. Okay, let's get started with it. And the first thing I want to do is get the left-hand part going. It's actually fairly straightforward, although we can look at it in terms of a couple different levels. At its simplest, you would play the 5th of the key that you're in. So I'm going to do this in C major. I'm going to play this G note right here. Now, that's the simplest thing. So if we're going to do this for 8 bars, I could play, for example, just a G in whole notes. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now, if you want something more complex than that, then the next thing we can do is we can involve the G below it. That will allow us to do all sorts of things in terms of the rhythm. You can do, things like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and so on. You can kind of play around with the rhythms there. And as one more level ahead of that, another thing we can do is we can involve this F sharp here. We can use it as a grace note to get us to this G. And that will allow us to do things like and so on. So as we move forward, you'll see me kind of playing around with those different things there. Okay, so now let's talk about the right-hand part. We're going to have 4 different chord shapes, and we're going to play them one after the other, and if you want, you can repeat after that, as we'll see. Okay, so the first shape is going to be this right here, what we might normally by itself call E minor 7. Now, in this context, you may hear it as an E minor 7, or you may hear it as the upper chord tones of a C major 9 sound. At any rate, we're going to find these notes, E, G, B, D. That's our first shape. Now, the second shape is going to be this right here. Now, I want to describe this in 2 different ways. This is E, G, B flat, D flat. I want to describe this in 2 ways. One way is to call it for the chord that it appears to be, which is E fully diminished 7. Another way that we can look at this is we can say that we went from the E minor 7 shape, we moved the B and the D down a half step. So find the B and D, move them down a half step. Either way, this is our second shape. Okay, the third and fourth shape is fairly easy because we're simply going to move this shape down in half steps. So our third shape is this right here. This we could call an E flat fully diminished chord, and it is E flat, G flat, A, and C. Then the fourth shape is just this shape moved down again. So now we have like a D fully diminished, which is D, F, A flat, and B. So there we go. First shape, second shape, third shape, fourth shape. Okay, now let's put the hands together, and I'll do this really simply at first, just so you can hear the overall sound. And you can repeat if you want. Now, that was nice, but let's spice this up gradually by doing some different things. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to keep my simple whole note left hand rhythm, but I'm going to go ahead and use some jazzier rhythms in my right hand. Yeah. Now let's introduce some even more complex things in the left hand, and things will get even more upbeat. Yeah. Whoa, wait just a sec. This lesson's actually not over yet. In fact, we're just getting started. However, I was thinking that this might make a good stopping point. We've already got a method for creating a great sounding intro, and for at least some people, this could be plenty enough for now. If that's you, that's fine. Feel free to stop here and practice. But if or when you're ready to see just how much more we can do with this, then hop over to part 2 of this lesson. You'll find a link right here. I'll also put a link in the video description. And in the meantime, here's a summary of what we've got so far.